Do you ever feel just totally overwhelmed? You've got a task ahead of you that's just so daunting, so big, you can't imagine how you can possibly get it done, and you don't think you can go on unless you get it done? Well, I know that feeling, but not nearly like a friend of mine does. A close friend of mine who I've known since 1963. We went to band camp together, went to college together, we worked together, we're in Army Reserve and National Guard bands together. This friend of mine has lived in this little 600 square foot house right behind me since the 1970s. He's, in his words, he's a confirmed old bachelor. He's lived here by himself for over 40 years. Well, within the last couple of years, his health started going downhill. He's diabetic, and due to some complications, he actually just recently had to have part of a foot amputated. And he's in the hospital right now. And his house was not, the inside of his house, as you saw, was not really worked well for somebody who has to get around on crutches or with a walker or in a wheelchair. At least it certainly didn't when he left here, because it was full of a lot of stuff that he'd kept over the years. Well, he's in the hospital now, and in a few weeks he's going to get out, and he needs to go home to a place where it can be clean and can be easily accessible, and he can get in and out of, and he can have people come in and care for his wounds and his amputation of his foot and healing and that kind of stuff. So in his mind, how am I ever going to get that done? How am I going to get things cleaned up? The house was infested with mold. How am I going to get rid of the mold? How am I going to get things cleaned up? I was in ill health before. Now I'm having trouble just even getting up and out of bed. How am I ever going to do that? Well, you know what I found? This may be very simplistic, but many of you can probably relate. I found that God literally works in mysterious ways. He's always working things out for the good. And whatever He requires, He provides. People in our church have come together, and people who have carpentry skills, painting skills, and different things have come in and, first of all, cleaned the house up, then got rid of the mold, professionally got it all done, got the carpet that had some mold in it and stuff like that, got that pulled up and everything. And now, over the course of the next few weeks, we're going to have volunteers come in. We're going to put in a new flooring. Here, a hardwood floor. We're going to put in a new hot water heater, new refrigerator. I say new. These are, some may be new, but these are primarily going to be things that people have a second one that they're not using, or maybe one in a basement room or something like that, or things that we've gotten and fixed up. We're going to provide a new refrigerator, new stove, a dishwasher, which you didn't have before, new hot water heater, washer and dryer, which you didn't have before. We're going to paint. We're going to put in new windows. We're going to come in and get rid of all the vines and stuff that's growing around the house and that type of thing. We're going to provide him with a complete new set of furniture, new clothes, all these things to replace the things that had been sort of infiltrated by mold. So when he comes home from the hospital, he's going to come home to not only to a place that he can get around in easily and well, but where people can come in, visiting nurses and things like that can come in and help care for him. But also, it's going to be nice and clean and have things that work, and that he can now keep up with some help from some other people. So my point of all of this is, I'm not saying this to say, hey, look at our church, aren't we good or anything? Not at all. I've been part of good churches and bad churches, and churches that abuse and churches that take care of people and stuff like that. I've just come to understand that the church is much more than a building. The church is much more than worship services or Sunday school or outreach programs or what we believe or how we say things or how we worship or things like that. The church is people. And when people come together and unselfishly give their time and their talents and their abilities, some can give some money to provide things, some that don't have discretionary income can come and do some cleaning or look for things in garage sales or come and trim the brush or things like that. When a group of people come together to show their love for a fellow churchgoer, we don't even have membership at our church, but somebody who's involved in our church, when people can come together and show our love in a tangible way, that to me is what the church is all about. So if you're watching this from somewhere around the country or around the world, I hope you're involved in a little church like that, a small group, a church, something where people really know each other's needs and love each other and care for each other and step up and help people when they need it. If you're part of a church like that, boy, celebrate it and enjoy it and thank God for it. If you're not, I encourage you to go out and find a place like that. Find some place where you can plug into and you can support and you can be involved in and you can help others do that. This is a real blessing for us at our church at New Life in Christ in Lawrence, Kansas, to be involved and help our friend through this part of his journey. Well, thanks for joining me in this part of my journey. Thanks for watching Convertible Conversations today. See you next time.